My name is Tribal Instincts, and today I am reviewing for you the Deluxe Audio Head Strap. Alright, so from what I can tell, this thing has three primary purposes. One is to make it easier to put it on and take it back off. Another one is to make it more comfortable while it's sitting on your head. And two, integrating the audio so that you don't have to worry about fumbling with earbuds or over-the-ear headphones, whatever it is. It's supposed to make it all of that easier. In the United States, this thing retails at $100. So the two primary questions that I have for this thing in this review is one, does it accomplish its goals? And two, is it worth the $100? I'm gonna give you my opinion on both those questions. All right, so whenever you get this thing out of the box, it's actually very, very simple to put it on. I'm not gonna go through the instructions. The instructions that come with it, it's just fine. Basically, you just snap off the existing strap and then you pop this thing back onto it. It's incredibly easy. It's not worth spending any more time on this one. So for that, good job for HTC for making this thing very nice and easy to retrofit your existing device. Whenever you go to put this thing on there, you will notice that the connection points, they are nice and tight, which is a really good thing because right out of the box, my biggest concern for this thing is its stability. Is this thing going to hold up over the next 6 months to the next year with how much I'm gonna be using this thing? Now, unfortunately, obviously, I won't be able to answer that question completely. However, I can say that I think the answer is yes. Just looking at this thing, all of the tension, everything that you're gonna be putting this through under normal circumstances is not going to be stressing the joint to where I think that it would wear it out. All the pressure is going to be like pulling away from it, and this thing is nice and tight on there, so I'm not too worried. Unless, like, if you step on this thing, it is made out of plastic. I don't expect that this thing is going to be available if you're going to be very, very rough with it. So if you're gonna be having a bunch of small kids running around, which, why are you putting a Vive in their area anyway? But anyway, this thing is probably a risk more so than any other piece of the headset. With this one, you know, you could probably step on this one a little bit, at least enough to stumble and catch yourself, and you're probably okay. If you put any pressure on these plastic bits, I'm not gonna test it, but I expect that it would probably not live through it. So for that, in terms of the overall construction, I do think they did a good job, because if they had used metal parts, there's no way that I think I would have been comfortable with the weight. And with the plastic pieces that they used, I do feel like this is fairly sturdy, but I would never call anything on the Vive rugged, especially this piece. Now, there are 2 points on this head strap that do make me slightly concerned regarding the wear and tear. One is the spring action right there. I don't know if that comes through. Yep, there it is. So that makes me a little bit concerned. It depends on how much this thing's gonna be used. It seems like this is something that could wear out. Now, that won't be a deal breaker, because then you could just tighten down the back knob a little bit to make it tighter, but still, that spring action, it does help. The spring in here is not enough for me to be able to just take the headset off without undoing the back knob a little bit, and I'll show that in a moment. But ultimately, that spring in there, I won't be using it too very much, but it does help in the comfort factor of tightening it down just the right amount, because that spring, it gives it a little bit of play. Now, onto the knob, this is the other point. So this thing that I'm hoping, you know, is the fail-safe of this thing going out. This also makes me a little bit uncomfortable, because while I can't take this apart, it sounds and it feels like there's plastic bits in there, which, if you're gonna be putting a lot of pressure on this thing over and over and over again, especially if you're gonna have a bunch of people cycling through your head strap and changing this thing quite a bit, I'm worried that that might give out over time. There is no evidence I have to you know, make that claim whatsoever. This is just a kind of a gut reaction feeling that I have just from playing on it. So there's nothing to back this up, okay? So take this as just skepticism and worry of a single person, not anything that is, you know, factual at all. All right, so question number one, does this thing make it easier for you to take it off and put it back on? For me, the answer is, meh, not really. So I had used the Vive so much that the old strap was incredibly simple for me to put it on and get it off and get it comfortable within just a few seconds. I had it down fine. It just took me 2 seconds to get this thing perfectly comfortable every single time. Now, for newcomers to the Vive, it was not so simple, okay? There was a lot of fumbling around. It was not as easy, even for my children. They spent a decent amount of time in it so far, and it was not as easy for them to adjust the strap and get it comfortable. This does make it easier for somebody who is not doing it every single day. If you're a veteran, though, I really don't see this adding too much benefit in your convenience of putting it on. Except for one thing. I am now completely able to put this thing on and adjust it and get it very nice and tight with just one hand without much effort at all. That is simpler, and that will actually help people that are probably, you know, in development business where you're just putting it on the right hand side and you just need to put it on very quickly. And on top of that, The other headset, the normal head strap, you couldn't really just rest it on your head without significantly tightening it down. And you had to, like, I don't know, I just could never find a good place of setting it on my head without actually tightening it on. This, however, if you are a developer, this is probably a must-have. There have been other attempts at making it like a flip up and other things, and I've seen some developers able to put it on very quickly, but ultimately, this is a heck of a lot easier than anything I've seen so far. You're able to just put it on there. It's not on there too tight. You can lift it back up, get back to your code. You can do whatever you need to right here. So this is, for that purpose, if you are a developer, this is a must-have. This makes it so much easier to get in and out of the headset very quickly without having to deal with a bunch of straps. Question number 2, the big one. Does it make it more comfortable? Yes, but not for everybody. For me, it is significantly more comfortable. The weight, it was different at first, okay? I will say whenever I first put it on, the weight kind of threw me off and I was nervous about if I got used to it. However, after the few days that I've had it, not a concern anymore. It is so much more comfortable. There is less pressure on my face overall, and it does take a few seconds or a few attempts for you to understand like where the weight should be on this one. But it is more comfortable. After you get used to it, after you figure out the right sweet spot, because it is slightly different than the other one. Once you figure out the sweet spot, this is a lot more comfortable. If you have big ears like I do, that is going to be a pain point at first. I've actually have to tuck mine in a little bit underneath the padding here. Otherwise, the metal from the actual headphones pinches my ear, and that was annoying. So that took a few seconds to figure out. But yeah, I got to tuck my ear in underneath it. Darn my big head and big ears. My kids also found this significantly more comfortable. They also found it easier to put on and also to take off. So for them, also, this is definitely a win. My wife, however, she doesn't like this at all. She could not find a position, she could not find a configuration, she could not get this thing to where it was comfortable. Now, it wasn't a deal breaker. It's not like I'm going to have to completely remove this and switch everything out so that she could use the old strap again. It's not that bad. However, it is definitely not an improvement. It is a worse experience for her than it is for the normal strap. So this isn't going to be for everybody. This probably won't fit a head that is smaller than my son's. We had to crank this thing down all the way, and then also the strap went back almost to the farthest extent that it could go in order for it to fit. Now, it did fit him great. He loved it. However, anything smaller than his head, I would say is probably a no-go for this thing. All right, now this thing is called the Deluxe Audio Strap. So let's talk about the audio. I am surprised with the quality of these headphones. I have been under the impression pretty much my entire life that there wasn't going to be any headphones that are better than the around ear headphones that I've been using for games since I started gaming pretty much early on in my life. I have never enjoyed the ones that just sit on top of the ear because it didn't isolate the sound and the quality was just not as great. There was no bass to it. It was all very tinny. These, however, are surprising. I am not saying that these are going to blow away, the audiophiles out there. However, I will say that their quality is surprising. The bass, while it's not quite as deep as what I would, strive for in a very expensive headset, for $100, this is an excellent set of headphones. For the convenience that this allows, hands down. I paid $120 for my Turtle Beaches, I think it was at the time, and these are maybe one tiny hair less in terms of just overall sound quality compared to those. In terms of comfort, there's no comparison whatsoever. This, in the headset, it is so much nicer than anything I've used so far. The earbuds, those are annoying. I hate the wires as they dangle down, and I know the tricks, but I've never found a good way. Maybe it's just my ears, but the headphones, they always just came out. I didn't like them. The over-ear, they've been completely fine for me. It's fit perfectly. I like them a lot. These, however, these are more convenient, and I will be using these as long as I possibly can. So like I said, my two biggest concern with just the on-ear headphones was the overall sound quality and the noise isolation. These do an amazing job. Once you get these on there, and the fact that this snaps in, it puts a very firm grip on your ear. Not uncomfortable, but very firm, and it does an amazing job. My kids could not hear me whenever they were playing their games, whenever they were having these on. It does an amazing job at filtering out the sound, and I am totally amazed by that. I'm very surprised. So for that alone, if you're looking to get a good set of headphones, you can spend $100 on an over-ear set, or you can spend $100 on these and probably get better quality in a lot of cases. Now, granted, you can't use these headphones for anything that's not in VR, but nonetheless, it is good for VR uses. All right, so the big question, is this thing worth the $100 add-on that it is? The headphones is what makes this a yes. If it were just the strap, okay, if you're looking at getting the strap for the comfort and for the ease of use, but you're looking to take off the headphones, I would be hard pressed to say that this is worth $100 for just those features. It is slightly more comfortable. It is slightly easier to use in some circumstances. However, ultimately for $100, I'm not sure that I would say that it's worth that price. But with the added benefit of the headphones, I would say hands down it is. It is clearly the headphones that are adding to that convenience. It is so much more convenient than having to fumble around for my other set of headphones after I've already put on the headset. It is easier to position them correctly. The audio is good. The overall comfort of them on your ears is also very good. It's basically like having a full head hug, thanks to the headphones themselves. So yeah, overall, I say this is worth the price. If you're big into VR, if you use it, multiple times a week and you love it as much as I do, then yes, this is a worthwhile add-on to just improve the overall quality of life of having a VR headset. All right, guys, I'm done here. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit the like button below. If I missed anything, if you want to know anything else about this head strap, please drop a comment. Let me know what it is that I missed, that I should have touched on, that I should have commented on, and I'll try to answer it for you in a comment. Or if there's enough of them, I can do a follow-up video, but I think I covered most of it. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching again. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.